Dun 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 dun. So, of course, I'm film critic M.A. Moreno, and you are?
The Dueler. Or just Dueler.
Dueler. Speaking of Ferris Bueller's Day Off, I've been thinking about John Hughes movies lately. You know, it's so cold now that we're getting near the holiday season, and I was thinking about what happened in John Hughes' career. You know, he had all these great hits in the 1980s, and then in 1990 he does Home Alone.
When the McAllister family left on their Christmas vacation, they forgot one small thing.
Have yourself, our troubles will be ours.
Kevin!
Home Alone.
And while Home Alone is this huge hit, it sort of pigeonholes him into this whole Home Alone in a certain setting thing with his career. I mean, he does Home Alone 2, of course. He does Baby's Day Out.
Home Alone with a Baby.
He does the live-action version of 101 Dalmatians.
Home Alone with dogs.
It sort of culminates in one of the most disappointing screenplays he's ever written, as far as I'm concerned, Home Alone 3.
From the writer and producer of Home Alone.
Got him right where I want him. Ouch.
Home Alone 3.
Yes, definitely agree with this one.
And that was really the final entry in the Home Alone series. I mean, after that, there was just nowhere to go with the series because no one cared anymore. Unless you count that TV movie that Hughes had nothing to do with. With Home Alone 3, you can understand that since he couldn't get Macaulay Culkin, obviously Macaulay Culkin was getting too old. I mean, in the first movie he was 8, and in the second movie, Lost in New York, he was 10, even though it was set a year later. Figure that one out. It was obvious that Culkin was getting too old, so instead he went with this kid named Alex Lentz, who plays a kid named Alex, and it has many of the same elements as the previous films, but he seems to be addressing some of the criticisms from people, especially like Siskel and Ebert, who felt that the parents were just coming off as too horribly irresponsible in the first two movies by leaving Kevin home alone, and also the overt violence, which was crossing that line between, you know, comic relief violence and just outright ending of a Wes Craven film.
Yes, there was horrible decisions made by the parents in the first two, but at the same time it was done so comedic. It's like no parent would ever make this mistake. In this third one, the parents are more responsible, but they leave their child alone every day with virtually no supervision.
Right.
As far as the booby traps go, to me it was over the top, cartoony violence.
Yeah, Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
It was Wile E. Coyote and Roadrunner.
A kid would not do this, and a burglar would not be dumb enough to fall into these traps.
Right. With the third film, though, we're not dealing with the wet bandits.
Or the sticky bandits.
Right. We're dealing with this international... What?
A team of international high-class thieves.
Spy
Group who have found this microchip that they're bringing to sell to someone, and they've hit it on a toy truck, which, gets mixed up with the toy truck that's been given to the kid for Christmas that he gets early.
Right. Now, the part of the problem with these, there are 4 of them?
Yes.
Is that you really can't distinguish much between their characters. I mean, Harry and Marv really had this clear-cut characterization. They were fun to watch.
You better watch out. You better not hide. If your doors are open, we're coming inside. Harry and Marv are coming to town.
These 4 people, the 3 guys and the woman, are just bland one-note characters who are just there to be part of the pratfalls.
Pretty much the only distinction between them is A, the leader,
Right.
B, the woman, and then the 2 guys.
That's it. It just feels like this is all stock. And these are the sort of shortcuts that I expect someone to make in like a TV movie or something. But no, this was a theatrical release. And I mean, there's no excuse for this one-notedness from the characters. And then it extends to Alex's family. I mean, Alex himself is a perfectly fine character, and he has that parrot as well, doesn't he?
Yeah.
But the parents and the siblings...
The world laughs, Alex.
You've stained the family name.
I mean, they were also bland. I mean, if you look back at the first 2 films, I mean, those were such well-developed comedic characters, the family. Even though they're barely in the film, they have a strong impact.
The mother, after she's realized what she's done, she is just devastated. And you can see how determined she is to try to get back to her child.
I don't care if I have to get out on your runway and hitchhike. I am going to get home to my son.
Right. In this film, it's just that he's home alone sick. On the one hand, it's not, some grave, irresponsible act. But it also means that there's less interest in what the kids' parents are actually doing. I think that there was potential there. I think what John Hughes was going to go for was the idea of the sort of latchkey kid. The one who's abandoned by both of his parents. But if you want to see that done well, you need to turn to something like Godzilla's Revenge as opposed to this movie.
Yes.
It's sort of a shame that this film turned out the way it did, because Home Alone had the potential to be, this sort of well-remembered Christmas franchise, much like, Die Hard, with its 4 Christmas movies, 2 of which are set during summer. But instead, it has this legacy of one really classic film, one follow-up that sort of upped the ante in every single way.
Same movie, but done bigger with a much bigger budget.
Right. And then this really disappointing, wasted opportunity to pass the baton. I think that it's well produced. It's just sorely lacking, and so I, as much as I hate to say it, I think I would give it 1 star. There's just no reason to watch it.
Yeah, I completely agree. Just 1 star from me as well.
And I want to give it more than 1 star because John Hughes wrote it, and it's nowhere near as bad as Home Alone 4. So, I mean, it's just a problem of this one did not do what it needed to do in order to keep the franchise going, and so it just feels like a bland knockoff. I mean, it feels even worse than, say, that Dennis the Menace movie that was obviously trying to cash in. Yeah, don't see this. Instead, if you want to spend your holiday season watching, some of the classic memories of people being horribly mistreated by a young child, stick with the first one or the first 2 if you're looking for some Tim Curry action.
Yeah. Or, always watch Die Hard, because in every Die Hard movie you get what you want. John McClane kicking butt.
Yeah, that's what we need from Kevin McAllister here. We need, in this franchise, we need Kevin McAllister, no matter how old he is, horribly mangling 2 thieves as they're just trying to steal some money. Preferably getting darker and darker as the series goes along.
Now why would anybody soak a rope in kerosene?
I want to play a game with you. Until he eventually becomes Batman.
So hopefully this holiday season you'll get around a nice warm fire, because even though the weather outside is frightful, and you can be sure that John McClane will be so delightful. So let it snow, let it snow, let it snow.
Which it could at any moment now.
So we're going to figure out some way to stay warm here. Meanwhile, you continue to enjoy the various offerings from the Reviewniverse. Since this is your show, go ahead and close us.
Bye. Never give your kids Christmas presents early. Doesn't teach them patience or responsibility.
And could lead to a weak Home Alone sequel.
Yes.